Well, this is exciting. My very first sorghum Sudan bale of my farming career and of my life. 23% moisture? That can't be. Oh yeah, there we go. 40%. Surprisingly enough, for how thick and tall and big these sorghum Sudan plants are, the baler likes driving fast. When I was driving slow on the very first bale here, you can see the metal slats on this baler, which are what Krone uses to help build such a heavy, strong bale. The material was coming through the slats. So pretty interesting to think that that much material can go through the baler pickup. That Krone pickup likes to eat, and it liked going faster rather than slower. If I would have been a betting man, I would have thought today was going to be a slow day baling in this field, wanting to go slow, but the baler's telling me to go faster. All right, stay tuned, guys. This video is going to be epic. Well, Joe, I was kind of wondering how today was going to go. I've never harvested sorghum Sudan grass in my life, and I was kind of wondering how the baler was going to handle it, how the rake was going to handle it, and a couple days ago, how the mowers were going to handle it, and this has actually been quite easy.
Well, yeah, from my perspective, I was actually quite curious as well, hence the spontaneous visit today. And yeah, I seen some of the images you sent me from the crop in its standing form, and then I was actually curious how it was going to mow with the triple mowers, but it seemed to do a really good job. And then yeah, obviously to see how it was going to go through the baler was the next step in that process. So
yeah, so the reason we're filming this for you guys is this is not planned. This is hilarious because I sent Joe a picture the other day when I was cutting this, two actually. One in the cab facing forward as we were cutting it with the triple mowers, and there was a spot where the sorghum Sudan grass was as high as the hood of the tractor. In that same moment that I stopped to take that picture, I turned 90 degrees and showed Joe a picture of the sorghum Sudan as high as the door handle on the door of the fast track. And Joe, he said, oh, that's a fantastic looking crop, but he knew we were going to start raking and baling today. Yeah, and he's like, I have to see this for my own eyes.
I think I texted you on Monday. I said, when are you going to bale that crop? Because I'm really curious to come and see how it goes through the baler.
So it's yeah, handling it pretty good.
I thought that, like, you know, those stalks were going to be a lot thicker and punchier and punch through this stuff, but that, yeah, it's picked it up absolutely beautiful. The rake's doing a good job, and the feed is like exceptional quality. We used to stand graze corn back home in Australia when I was a kid, and I mean, the way that this feed is coming out at this, I think we got to 40% moisture.
Yes.
In some of the bales. Yeah, it's baling up absolutely gorgeous feed.
We do have to thank North Star Seed for part of that, because this is a BMR variety of sorghum Sudan, which is brown midrib, and the stalk stem is a lot more palatable in the BMR version. So to your point about it being a coarser stem, because this is the BMR version, which was recommended to us to grow from North Star, that all helps. And we actually had, when Joe first pulled up, I had 100% of the knives on the pre-cutter engaged. I thought big, huge plants were going to need more cutting to size the material, and it didn't. So it is allowing us to bale faster with half the knives in, and we are actually doing an even better job chopping bigger material. Like, we're driving faster today than we have in any of our cereal grain silage.
Yeah, all in all, I just think it's done a great job, and it's put up a fantastic product. And I've never seen this product, sorghum, being grown in North America. In my 24 years here, I've certainly seen it in Australia, but yeah, what a magnificent crop, and what a magnificent product that you're pumping out of this baler.
And if you guys can't tell by Joe's accent, he's from Australia.
Yeah, I often tell people I'm from Airdrie, and it doesn't go over very well.
All right, well, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
Good to
welcome,
see you as
David.
always.
Thank you.
And stay tuned, guys. There's a lot of day left. We're only on the second of the 3 headland passes, so stay tuned and watch this. Today an exciting day, guys. The startup on this field of Sorghum Sudan. I wasn't able to film as much here on the headlands and getting going on it. There's a few settings I wanted to change and just kind of pay close attention to how this crop was going to be handled in the rake and the baler. So a couple quick adjustments to the rake, just with the height off the ground. Those were pretty easy. You guys will see in maybe some drone imagery or in the background of some of these videos, you'll see the odd Sorghum Sudan plant that was left behind. What's happening is the stubble is 13 inches apart because we seeded it on 13-inch spacing, and some of the plants are falling in between the stubble. So typically, like we've talked about in other videos, when we seed with our 6.5-inch spacing drill, you know, the stubble is so close together, it really helps hold up the crop. So the odd plant is getting missed and left behind there, but you know what, we're okay. The field's going to yield okay, and the extra organic matter will just get worked into the dirt. So not too terribly worried. We're satisfied with the job the rake is doing. For how much material is here, we're also pretty excited that the gearboxes aren't running very hot. So that's a fantastic thing. And as far as adjustments on the krone-na baler, well, as you'll see there's a little bit of dry material coming out the top of the slots. I'm not paying close enough attention, but we thought that in a field like this, with a plant species that is up to 6 foot tall, that you would need to have more chopping in the silage baler than what we have. And what we found is we started the field with all of the knives engaged, and it was actually doing too much chopping. The pieces were coming out just tiny. It was actually harder to make a bale. So I said, well, let's just try this. And we took out a set of knives. You have the ability to turn a switch and run full knives or half knives. So we pulled it back to half knives and traveled at a little bit faster ground speed. And every piece of feed going into that baler now is about 5 inches. So it's crazy how you would have thought the exact opposite. I would have thought with such a tall plant and huge biomass material going into that baler, I would have thought slower ground speed with more knives. And I was wrong. I got to take it on the chin. A faster ground speed with half knives is doing a better job. And we love these fast tracks for their speed and suspension and comfort. So you know what? I am not going to complain with being wrong on this one, because we are going to get some extra ground speed out of it and hammer out the bales. We've got 150 bales already done in this field, and we've already only been here for about 3 hours. So yeah, no, things are going pretty darn good, if I may say so myself. Well, today's full of firsts. Never raked Sorghum Sudan, never baled Sorghum Sudan until today, and Kyle has never driven the silage baler, let alone in Sorghum Sudan. We're doing a crash course. No operation manual required. You're almost there. Start slowing down. Stop. Easy as that.
Oh, perfect. Wow.
Hydrostatic's pretty cool, eh?
Almost.
Anyway, we're driving the fast track in what would be called FX mode, which is pretty well automatic for most things. You just use the throttle, the gas pedal, to control your forward speed. So the further you press the pedal, the faster you go, and it even slows you down and applies the brakes. So yeah, to make a bale, you really just foot throttling it and stay centered on the swath. Oh, and don't plug it. It's pretty heavy swath. So anyway, this is us here today. You having fun, Kyle?
Yeah. It's a lot. Gotta focus.
Focus.
Focus. Yeah,
I know what's wrong with him. He ain't focusing.
You don't want to screw up in front of the boss.
Oh, geez. My boss, he's mean. You don't want to mess with him. Anyway, that's all we're doing here. I gotta say, farming on days like this makes it all worthwhile. We've achieved something and we're making it happen. We didn't know when we planted this crop how well our Krone hand equipment was going to be able to handle it. We didn't know if our triple mowers could cut it. We know that people have done it. We've never done it ourselves. We didn't know, can our rake it? We didn't know, can our krone-na silage baler bale it? We've heard and been told that it can be done, but we've never done it. So there's an intense amount of uncertainty there. And on days like this, when it actually comes together, a day we didn't know if we could fully harvest this stuff or how well it would go or what the little quirks would be on it, it's going really well. Our equipment, couldn't be happier with it today. Makes it a little easier to make those hard payments, when they come due every year is, our equipment really held us up and let us achieve what we needed to achieve in this field. So I keep thinking today it's the super corniest thing, but I love the Top Gun movies, and I think Tom Cruise did a really good job in those. And the funny thing is when he's describing in Top Gun Maverick, when they're just in that scene where they're discussing the mission and some of the risks, and he's like, this is miracle number 1. And he describes what the fighter jets have to do. And then he goes on to say, this is miracle number 2. Well, that's exactly how I feel with this field. Can I cut the darn stuff?
That's miracle number 1.
Our Krone triple mowers did that. So we're pretty happy there. Can we rake this stuff?
That's miracle number 2.
We've got a Krone Swadro TC880 rotary rake, and it's doing a bang up job. So yes, we're able to rake the stuff. So that was miracle number 2. Miracle number 3, can we bale the stuff? We had to kind of learn a little bit about the setup of the baler and the speed and the knives, but yeah, we can. So miracle number 3, we've had 3 miracles today. That's amazing. And then on top of that, we've got Stu over here raking. We got Philip that's jumped in with his tractor, and we got Kyle here that has a busy weekend ahead of him with some family stuff, and he's here stacking bales like they're going out of style. This field's coming together. It's yielding good. The sun's setting. It's a beautiful day. On days like this, I feel like I should rename the channel because she's going a little easy. I don't want to say that, but things are going good, and well, a little bit of pride in our equipment here today that things are going as good as they are, because we really didn't know. We're in a great mood, and we're in a better mood now. Not sure if you can tell what that is, but it's like a ice cream fudgicle treat. And one of the coolest things just happened. One of our neighbors swung by, a nice lady, and she said, you guys look like you've been working hard all day. And she says, I'm bringing you an ice cream treat. How thoughtful is that? That is just an amazing thing when someone in society goes out of their way to think of someone else, and they see us sweating out here in the dust, especially Kyle. The telehandler's air conditioning isn't working at the moment, so he's running it today with the door open. So who doesn't like ice cream and talking about ice cream and doing all that while we're farming? So let's keep going here. It might be a late night. If all goes well, maybe we'll be going all night. So the extra sugar is gonna help. Thank you very much. It is the next day, kinda. I can't remember what time I filmed the last portion of this video last night, but we quit at about 4 in the morning. The moisture started going up at about 1:30, but we bailed till, well, we called it quits. I think I was rolling into bed at about 4. And it's been a long night. It's 10 a.m. on the button, so been essentially in bed or getting ready for today for the last 6 hours. Kyle put in a huge shift yesterday. He's got to leave for a wedding today, so he's gone. Stu also put in a massive shift last night. He was raking. We got this whole field raked. I think Stu pulled out of here at 11 o'clock-ish last night. So yeah, yesterday was a long day for pretty well everybody, and well, thank you everybody. Now that it's raked, I can bale, and we'll get this wrapped up here in the next few hours and head to the next field. This will be the last one of our fields. So we're moving to it, and it has a really cool story. So stay tuned for that video. I don't know what it's gonna look like or title of it yet, but it has a really cool reclamation story attached to that video, which you guys are gonna wanna see that one. So stay tuned, and I'll spend a little more time today getting the drone up in the air for you guys. Baling. Put up the sorghum Sudan grass in any of the varieties. Obviously this is a BMR variety, but how many people out there put this up as dry hay? It really holds its color well. So as we're silaging here, this stuff's been down for 3 or 4 days and still very nice and green. Even though it's dry, it doesn't bleach by the looks of it very easy. As I'm baling these, I understand they're gonna change color during the ensiling and fermentation process in wrapped bales, but this is gonna be pretty cool if a cattleman or somebody like that put these up as dry hay and unrolled them in the middle of January onto some white snow. This would be pretty attractive feed. I might get on my hands and knees with those cows too. She looks delicious. Well, reload some plastic wrap here for the last time in this field. I wasn't planning on chatting about this, and then I got to thinking, well, the Agri Novatex wrap that we're using is a 7-layer film. So I thought I'd share this with you guys because it was a pretty big lesson learned for us here, obviously on a field where we're learning here today. What we learned is, well, obviously sorghum Sudan is similar to a type of corn. You can see the stalks are very, very large. So the stalks and stubble, the bales in theory, we were wondering if they'd be susceptible to damage from landing on the stubble. This is very tough, strong stubble. The BMR version of the sorghum Sudan is obviously a lot more pliable and softer than the typical corn stubble that you would think and see. However, as I'm loading what's going to be the last couple rolls of plastic for this field, coincidentally we are next to a bale that didn't land on its flat side and it is on its round side. You know what? At first when this started happening, we were thinking, oh geez, because the round side of a bale has a little bit of air in it immediately after wrapping on the baler. And we thought, well, if it's rolling onto that side and it doesn't have a very hard surface under it because there's a layer of air, would that plastic get punctured by the stubble? And we are super impressed. It does not. Obviously, we never skimp out on our plastic. It's called SureFilm. It's a 7-layer film. It has the highest UV resistance. It also has the highest durability. So we are putting 6 wraps on. I was gonna show you, but I only have 5 fingers. We use 6 wraps of a 7-layer film. So on all the few thousand silage bales we've built so far, we've never had an issue with anybody complaining in years past of durability issues. Even in the cold of winter, if you go back a few videos here when I went over to our friend Ben's house and we were feeding in the middle of winter, we thought that even a good layer, a good quality film would be less durable in the winter when it's cold. Not the case. That premium 7-layer film we've had tremendous success with. We are not going to change in the near future. We love that stuff. So speaking of film, I guess I should get back to work here and load up a couple more rolls. Doesn't take very long, but you have to do that a few times a day.
Yeah.
So as you can see here, the annual ryegrass in between the rows of sorghum Sudan. This whole intercropping and potentially dual cropping thing is, I hope, gonna pay us dividends in the future. even if we don't succeed at double cropping, which is a really tall order, it's still considered cover cropping, and that's always going to be a good thing for your soil and your ground. So I think with our new horse drill, we're going to be doing a lot more of this kind of stuff. So stay tuned to the channel, guys. We got lots of exciting stuff coming on, and this year's farming season is nowhere near over, but the end is in sight. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.